Good morning. When I was little in the 70s, I was lucky that the environmental causes were at the forefront. The first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22nd, 1970. The Alliance for the Great Lakes was established also in 1970. In January 1970, Congress passed the National Environmental Policy Act, and the Environmental Protection Agency was put into action in December of the same year. The roots, however, stretch further back to the post-World War II era and through the 1960s, with the likes of Aldo Leopold, Jacques Cousteau, the Sierra Club, and Rachel Carson drawing attention to how pollution, toxic dumping, and industrialization were destroying the environment. I watched a lot of Sesame Street and The Electric Company, both shows on PBS. Both shows were heavy on the need for community and community engagement, kid style. Commercials on the other three channels, oh, were we ever so young, were filled with PSAs exhorting us to give a hoot, don't pollute. Smokey Bear telling us that only you can prevent forest fires. And of course, the so-called crying Indian PSA. Today we know how problematic that was in its portrayal and appropriation of Native American culture, including the fact that the actor was of Sicilian heritage, for heaven's sake. But boy, was that some evocative imagery to this day. Native American man pulls down a once pretty, now polluted river past factories whose smokestacks are emitting God knows what into the air, pulling his canoe onto a littered shoreline. And as he walks onto that shore, trash thrown from a car window lands at his feet, and a single tear, perfectly framed, rolls down his cheek. I think of that PSA probably more than I'd like to admit when I pick up trash on our walks or on cleanup events. Such was its impact. Earth Day was also a big event from elementary through high school. There were always great appropriate events to participate in. Field trips to Lake Erie parks and Toledo Metro parks were as regular a part of our autumns and springs as trips to the Toledo Museum of Art or to the zoo. My parents also fostered my interest in nature from a young age. My dad had what seemed to be a lifetime subscription to National Geographic. I would spend hours poring over the issues after he read them. My mom didn't allow me to hang posters in my room, but there was a wall in our utility room that had maps and pictures of giraffes, lions, and wolves carefully torn from the pages of the magazine. We would watch Jacques Cousteau, Mutual of Omaha, and Cosmos together. My mom would take me on summer picnics and walks around the metro parks, and we loved going fishing. Our fishing entailed taking a short hike to a pond at Olander Park, baiting our hooks with bits of bread and bologna, and laughing as tiny fish swam up, pulling the treats from our hooks and swimming off. In later high school and college, my emphasis for a time turned more to women's rights and the possibility and prevention of nuclear war. But during that time, too, the recycling movement really started to gain in popularity. I remember recycling bins appearing on campus at Eastern Michigan University for the first time, and my dorm cafeteria trying to be greener. Adopt a Highway initiatives began in 1990, and I joined with the student group that spring to help clean up a portion of US 23. I remember that in the late 80s and early 90s, the fact of global warming and climate change started as sort of a watchword and then became very real to many of us for the first time. I feel like I went a little dormant for a while after college. I still cared, and I gave money to environmental causes as well as World Wildlife Fund. But in 2003, I took up running and biking for about 15 years, and that was the way I was brought back into thinking about the environment and my impact on it. I am making my way through Aldo Leopold's A Sand County Almanac for the second time. It is a beautifully written and illustrated book, and in this Kindle edition, I find myself underlining or bookmarking quote after quote. One of my favorites is, "Our ability to perceive quality in nature begins as an art with the pretty. It expands through successive stages of the beautiful to values as yet uncaptured by language." It was when we moved here in October 2021 that I really began to appreciate, embrace, and love that quote. This is such a beautiful area, West Michigan in general and Ottawa County in particular. We are truly blessed with beautiful, bountiful natural resources. One of the things I love to do on beach walks is to pick up a bit of driftwood or a rock and turn it over in my hands as I walk. Is it wet from the rain? Has it been, or the lake? Is it gritty with sand? Is there still bark to be peeled from the driftwood, or has it been dried and bleached smooth by sun, sand, and waves? How does a piece of driftwood sound? Just holding these treasures in my hands and feeling the warmth, or giving it warmth, soothes and connects me. I don't want to lose this ability to enjoy these treasures, to hear the birds, to see the fish jump out of the river on warm mornings. And it is incumbent upon you and me to do what we can to help preserve and protect these resources. Right here in this room, in this community, one of the values we hold dear is protecting the environment. Yesterday, we had our spring Adopt Highway event. Next Saturday, we're going to be part of an event celebrating Earth Day. And on May 13th, we are hosting a cleanup of East Grand River and Bolt Parks and the nearby paths instead of railroad tracks. And those are just our spring events. You can join in our every Saturday Stand for Peace and hold a sign promoting environmental awareness. You could join a beach cleanup hosted by a Great Lakes Alliance ambassador. You could donate money or write letters to local, state, and national officials about your environmental concerns. And even though there are ample opportunities to join or lead organized cleanups, one of the most important things you can do when you are out on a hike or walking the beach and dunes or just walking your dogs around your neighborhood is stop, bend down, and pick up the all too ubiquitous straws, cups, cigarette butts, balloon strings, and odd random bits of plastic that accumulate, especially after a day of strong winds or after trash pickup day in your neighborhood. It is important and it makes a difference. It's something that not many will see, but the satisfaction is immense, and you'll be surprised once you start doing it regularly that there are other walkers doing the same thing. Sometimes when I pick up the rocks or pieces of driftwood, and after holding them for a bit, I throw them back into the lake. I watch the ripples until my eyes lose sight of them, but I know they are still going outward. Allow me to metaphorically toss a rock out here. How far will the ripples go? How long will they continue beyond what we can see or hear? It starts with our will and our hands. In her song, Hands, Jewel wrote, "If I could tell the world just one thing, it would be, we're all okay, and not to worry, because worry is wasteful and useless in times like these. I will not be made useless. I will not be idled with despair. I will gather myself around my faith, for light does the darkness most fear. My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken." Thank you.